Before we begin today's episode, we would like to share a quick disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by the hosts and guests on this podcast are their own personal views and are provided in their own capacity. All content is editorial, opinion-based, and intended for entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised.
What's crack-a-lackin', Scooby snackin'? And by Scooby snackin', I mean you sick little goons and goblins. Everyone knows what the most wonderful time of the year is. And no, it's not Sandy Claus season, because fuck that bastard. And no, it's not the forgotten one in between the greatest time of the year and another fun time of the year. That's right. We're talking about spooky season.
Ooh.
Do it again. Mufasa.
Do it again. I was going to say Mufasa.
It is spooky season, Halloween, aka Christmas for the bad kids, is what I'm talking about here. The one night of the year where all little freaks and geeks get to really be themselves and not get picked on. Or, the girl next door, she's feeling a little extra spicy. She can be the slut that's really deep down inside of her souls. Either way, we love it all. But before we get to the bastardized American version of the most joyous holiday of the year, I think we need to learn a little bit about it. Where it comes from, where it goes. Where did it come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Yeah, I figured you'd enjoy that one.
That caught me so off guard.
Honestly, I don't think I will ever top my very first episode that I drove. A topic that's near to my house. The female orgasm. I don't think anything will beat that. Ever.
No, that was a pearl clutching moment for sure in the annals of this fucking podcast.
The annals of this podcast? Anywho.
Right.
Oh.
Anyway, hi.
Anywho, I'm your host with the ghost and the most babe, Kyle, and here tonight is Angie. I didn't have anything creative to call for you, so hey Angie, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, a little slap happy, but I'm doing good. I made it through the day.
Okay, there you go. That's all we can ask for.
That's all we can ask for, right?
Exactly. I know, as a fellow creepy son of a bitch, you've been itching and burning to talk about Halloween, and god damn it,
yes.
That's what we're going to kind of do. We're just going to have a little chit chat and then chit chat a little bit more. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
One more reason to love the Irish people and my Irish heritage is actually way back there is where our stories of Halloween begin. That's right, you fuckers. St. Paddy's Day is an American holiday, as where Halloween is a fucking Irish holiday. So, I don't really know the year it started. I'm gonna ballpark and say like BC times. Way the fuck back then. It's Halloween is a derivative from the old Irish festival Samhain. Samhain?
Yes.
Samhain. Yes, Samhain. That's it. I know it's one of those ones because it looks like it should be spelled like it looks like it should be pronounced shawarma, but it's not because Celtic and Gaelic.
It looks like it should be Samhain.
Yeah, Samhain and salmon or something like that, or salmon or something.
Yeah.
It definitely does not
look like it should be pronounced Samhain.
Yes, exactly. But either way, it's kind of what Samhain was kind of like the like Ireland, Scotland, Normandy area, all around there. It was the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the winter. The harvest and the is that the fall solstice?
Mm-hmm.
How it goes, all that, yeah, all throughout that one. But also during that time when the night is the longest before the day, before the dawn. That was when they felt that the lines between this world and the afterlife kind of get blurred. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of the souls kind of crossed over. You see that through many, many cultures. They all believe that All Hallows Eve, the Day of the Dead, so on and so forth, they all share that same commonality, is that not necessarily the dead coming back to life, like not zombies. There's no thriller happening here, but the those who have passed on can kind of come for a visit. A lot of the traditions in there is, let's face it, not all souls are good. All dogs go to heaven, but not all good people go to heaven. And some of the shitty ones kind of make their ways back, So that's where a lot of the traditions of the jack-o'-lanterns and dressing up and trick-or-treat and bonfires, all that kind of stuff was used as protection from the evil spirits. So like bonfires was people having their big bonfires to literally scare away the evil spirits, because for whatever reason they're afraid of fire. Maybe because it's light, maybe because it's hot, maybe because both. It would light up the dark areas, the boundaries, and it would keep them at bay to stay in the shadows, if you would. Jack-o'-lanterns actually started as turnips because they didn't have pumpkins in Ireland, and they didn't have potatoes either, for at least a little bit. So snuck in a little
give me
famine.
Shit about the potatoes.
No, I'm not. Listen, I wasn't saying anything about you eating raw potatoes. I was talking about the potato famine. That's my one per list. So take that. It's a genocide that Mother Nature enacted upon the Irish people. Either way, they would carve faces and hollow out turnips. And it wasn't until they immigrated to North America, where pumpkins were more native, and they decided to switch them because they are much easier, because for the most part they're already pretty hollow. But yes, they would carve the faces into them, little spooky scary faces, and light them up, and same thing, more lights and scary faces and scare away the spirits. Costumes and dressing up, literally just disguising themselves so the spirits wouldn't recognize them, or try to dress up as monsters to scare away the spirits, which is really funny because there's a lot of people who have deep fears of spirits and ghosts and supernatural, but apparently they're a bunch of fucking pussies, because anything scares them. Apparently, just dress up and they're going to be confused and they're not going to know.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? But it's apparently just fire and a fucking rutabaga with a smiley face on it, and oh no, it's gonna go run for the hills. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here, dude! Like
fire and a rutabaga.
You know what I mean? Like, meanwhile, it's a fucking spirit. It can like walk through walls and like do weird spirit shit, and it's like, oh no, a strawberry rhubarb pie, run away! Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'll remember how to take a rutabaga and carved out whatever.
Next time you go ghost hunting, you're just gonna have a fucking. Oh, but a lot of your other fall traditions come from Halloween as well. But same thing, just more cultures and religions as they would adopt in here, and word got around. So like the Roman Empire is where we get bobbing for apples from, because when they conquered that territory, they brought some of their own festivals into the area. They had their festival for it was the goddess of, I think it was the forest, the trees. It was fruit and the trees and whatnot. Pomona, I think that was the goddess. Yeah, it was, whatever. They had a festival for the goddess of the fruit and the trees and all that other fun stuff, and kind of they're one of the harvests as well. And they would literally do that to like show that's where bobbing for apples came from. They would literally just take a bunch of either apples and like throw them like the rivers or whatever the hell it is. They would have to close their eyes and like put the trust in that she wouldn't let them drown, and try to grab the fruit with their mouths. Literally, that's what it was. Only they would be a little bit more. They would like, oh, you don't just hold on to the sides of the barrel and go for it. No, they would actually like tie their hands behind their back and like their legs and like throw them in the river and shit.
Mm.
I'm telling you, man, you hear some stuff and you're like, how did we make it as a society? Like, oh, this is fun to honor the gods. Yeah, well, you might get a one-way ticket to meet some of them if it doesn't really go your way.
Right.
Yeah. And then we get into like the Middle Ages is where trick-or-treating kind of comes through. So we're now more of the like the Anglo-Saxon traditions and the Norman traditions, where it was the they had to leave treats and goodies and nummies and all that fun stuff out for the spirits. And if they didn't, they would cause all sorts of havoc. And it didn't have to be just random ones. It would be like, their Uncle Herman, they didn't come back. They didn't have his favorite, plate of spitzel or something like that out. He's going to like kill the goats or like spoil the milk on the cows or whatever the hell it is. So they had to like leave out little treats so that's where you get trick or treat. Because when the spirits are coming back, the dead ones are coming back. And it was like, oh, yay, I got a little treat. No treat? Okay, I'm going to play a trick. And then they would just cause vandalism, which is fun.
Yeah, I know another thing that they did was, like in the medieval times, they would offer prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes, which were like, I think they were like spice little shortbreads, but yeah, soul cakes, which I think is a fascinating idea. Like you say a prayer and you get a cake for saying a prayer. I mean, sounds like a pretty fair exchange.
It really depends. Now, see, nowadays it sounds like because you have like Martha Stewart and like Ace of Cakes and like Cake Boss and those other people, you have like cakes. But back then, cake was pretty much anything that you just put and you just baked. So, we're also talking about the Middle Ages of like England before they went and conquered India, and they had like spices, and before they learned what sugar was. So it was pretty much just like probably just like burnt flour was what their cakes were. That's it. It was just burnt flour. So like maybe it was exactly just burnt flour. Hey, you said it this time.
Yeah.
Moving forward to it though, but same thing. Just the further you get into it, the closer you get to modern day, is where you start to lose a lot of the, I guess, sentimental or cultural feelings towards Halloween. Like I said, at least I didn't learn this until like typical child upbringing of Halloween is what I was raised on. So you didn't really learn that there actually was like a it was a very sacred holiday throughout Europe. It was taken very, very seriously. Not crapping on it nowadays. It's fantastic, but it's just funny because it's seen as just it's a fun, joyous, you just get on and you just have a good time, as to where it was a bit more like almost like a day of remembrance. Families would gather and they was just like, oh, you miss your elder. So think of it like that. You kind of think of like that one, like your family would get together and you would sit and you would talk and reminisce about. It's almost like an in memoriam that they do for like like the award shows and shit. You'd get together. You get together and you have some of your family's favorite recipes, and this person passed away and that person passed away, and you would just kind of talk like that. But you'd also have all sorts of fires to keep the evil spirits away and shit like that. So it was rather nice, and now it's just it's fun. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it's fun now, as to not as somber, which I think is a good thing. But of course, then you have it's all when it comes to America is when it starts to get a little different. That's when you had the people. When they first immigrated, they still brought that tradition over, and then they were like, wait a minute, so you dress up to scare away the evil spirits? Well, what if I dress up like an evil spirit and like scare you and like trick you into giving me more stuff? You know what I mean? So that's where another belief that where different types of costumes and scaring people in haunted houses and shit like that would come from was the jackasses who were still living. They would like dress up, pretend to be people's family members, evil spirits, like, ooh, Ebenezer Scrooge, or whatever the hell, they would do all that kind of shit. But, yeah. And now we dress up, we go knocking door to door, and we get all sorts of delicious, tasty num-nums, and we get to be weird for like a little bit once a year. And it's socially acceptable.
I was going to say socially acceptable. Some of us are weird all year round.
Yeah. If I could dump my purse for like a teeny bit, I think that's why I always loved Halloween, was because this is like so cliched for like, I feel like my generation to say, but I don't give a shit. I was the weird kid, where like I had weird interests for like a long time, and you got made fun of a lot and you got picked on a lot. So, I've stopped being so open about it, but I still loved Halloween. Halloween was the one time of year where like, everyone was dressing up. So it was weird if you played dress up like in May, but you do it on Halloween. Like you're fucking weird if you don't, you know what I mean? And, doing all certain things and so on and so forth, it's little kid shit, except on Halloween. On Halloween, you get the pass. And that's kind of where like my hobbies and like cosplaying and all sorts of other fun stuff started too, is because the costumes you got in the store were always really crappy and they were really expensive. And I grew up borderline poor as shit, so we couldn't really like afford like the really nice costumes. Mm-hmm. So I always made my costumes. I always like kind of thrifted them and put them together. And it was a lot more fun. I was able to keep that creative side of me alive through Halloween. So that's why it got really, really deep with me and for me for the longest time. And now it's starting to get to the point where like no one's having fun with me anymore. They're like, yo, bro, you got to dial it the fuck back. But we still have a great time, and I'll never not love Halloween ever. It'll never stop.
I mean, it's one of those things where like I get it, but I never got to experience it, as a kid. Because I mean, we talked about it like a little bit in the last episode, but being raised in like a super, super restrictive religious family and organization and all that, it's they hammered it pretty heavily that this was like the most evil of evils. Like Halloween was like worse than any of the other holidays.
Its roots are from paganism, so it makes sense that like one of the arch rivals of that religion, like they would see it as the worst thing ever because it did start as a pagan ritual.
I will say one of the advantages though is that like they would go heavily into like all of the origins of all of the holidays. What I did get from growing up in a J-Dub household was very steeped in all of the like the factual historical reasons for all of the holidays. But instead of like kind of backfired because instead of it like like me being like, oh no, that's something like I was like, oh really, that's fascinating, please
it's
tell
fucking
me more.
Cool. Exactly. He was like, hey, cool. tell me more about this so we know to stay away from the bad stuff. It's like when God was first telling people about Sodom and Gomorrah. He goes like, hey, tell us more about this one so we know to stay away from there. What do they do there? What's orgy? How do you spell that? O-R? Yes, we want to make sure to stay away from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've just always been like fascinated with more so the history in the pagan origins of Halloween, because I mean, I've always been like a firm believer, like not to get like religious about it, but being in like that kind of religious kind of cultist environment, and then you break away from it. There's like a lot of freedom in that. I've studied a lot. I've looked at tons of other religions and really done a lot of deep dives. And I really think like our ancient ancestors had a lot of things, I think, more correct than a lot of Christianity does, because they were so attuned to like what is actually happening in the universe, what's happening with the earth and with the spirits and what happens after death. And they just were so attuned to, I think, like what really is the truth about the universe,
because they were out there, they were in it, they were in the world. A lot of those more organized religions, they came from in cities, so it's just stories that you hear. So it's like, oh, to whatever, and the trees this, oh, the trees don't have this, the trees don't have that. Well, how the fuck do you know? You're living in a fucking like a flat, whatever the fuck they call it. It's like literally someone in like New York City trying to tell you what it's like living in the country, who's never been out of
Right.
fucking Yonkers in their life. Like, they don't fucking know. Meanwhile, then you have the
Right.
farm boy who's just like, this is what it's like out here and all these other noises. I'm going to listen to what that person says. It's like being out in nature a bit more than the other person. So exactly that,
Right.
because then they just like they lived in the middle of the fucking woods. Like,
Right.
so of course they're going to hear this and see that, and it makes more sense. It's more, no pun intended, it's more grounded that way.
Right. Right. And what tickles me more than anything is that when like science now will, like, you know, the ancients would tell you like plants and trees, they can communicate, and they, you know, and people are like, oh, that's pagan superstition. Well, science has proven that trees form like a neural network. You know, they can communicate with each other. They have a language of their own. I mean, there are trees that, you know, they live symbiotically with each other to the point where they will grow so their limbs don't touch, so they can all share the sunlight. Like there's a communication there, and there's like an intelligence there that maybe we don't understand, and it's maybe not human intelligence, but like the ancients knew that. You know, the people back in Scotland and all of those really ancient places. I keep saying ancient, but I don't know another word for it.
Really fucking old.
Really fucking old. Yeah, they just had this way of knowing what's happening. And I think that there is something to when they talked about like the veil between dimensions, or whatever you want to call it. I think there are times when the veil does get thin, you know, and I don't know that necessarily like Halloween or, you know, Samhain and all of that is necessarily the only time. I think there's probably multiple times throughout the year that that veil is thin. Because I can tell you, like, you know, ghost hunting and stuff. I mean, there are times where you can go into a place, nothing happens. You can go back to a place months later, and there's a lot of stuff happening, you know. You know, the veil, it's just the walls get thin sometimes, and I don't know why. I don't know that anyone knows why, but yeah, I just love the history of Halloween so much, and like just the rituals that they would do, or I just think they're so cool. They're so badass.
Oh yeah, and like the color schemes too. I mean, like, okay, now we could just talk about like just the American bastardized version of it all, so on and so forth. Because like, come on, you get to fucking play dress up, you get fucking candy, you got sick fucking awesome movies. Everything's just scary. The colors are great. Everything smells like fucking apples. Like, dude,
Right? What's not to love?
Have I said one bad thing in the past 47 seconds? Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Come on. And then also, just with the love of that one, you get the absolute cinematic masterpiece that is the goddamn gift to the earth, that is the cultural hermaphrodite, that is the Nightmare Before Christmas, where you get to enjoy that movie not just year round, but particularly during the Burr months, because it celebrates equally the greatest holidays. Or the most popular holidays, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know, it's just things like that where there is still that almost anyone who has it has these great little stories of Halloween that they share, that they tell over and over again. And there was a lot of that, because that's where Halloween started as. You were gathering and you were sharing stories about loved ones and past and remembering. And at least for me, what I've noticed is that like there's still just, when you talk about it, it goes, I can think of doing this on Halloween and that on Halloween, and it's just people's like whatever. The reason was there, you know. Halloween was the reason, but Halloween was the reason why these memories were made, because we did them on Halloween. So in a way, it is still that very oldest and noblest tradition of Halloween, which is just that. It is just remembering. And continuing those stories for the next and however it is.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I will say I have recently found out that like it seems like the United States really, really goes way all out for Halloween, more so than a lot of other countries. I mean, I think because we have our what we call internet friends, right? But I was in an interesting conversation with some people from the UK, and they
Hi,
were just
ladies.
no, it actually wasn't. Though it wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't those ladies, but it was somebody else.
Hey, lady. Continue.
Well, it was actually a man. But
So,
anyway,
bro.
what's up, bro? What's up, Chris? But anyway, there were some other people there from the UK too in the conversation. But anyway, the point is that they were talking about like how different Halloween is viewed in the United States versus like the UK. Like even like we were doing a deep dive on like Spirit Halloween, the pop-up stores that everyone
Hell
loves,
yeah.
right? Like
Halloween.
they don't have those type of stores in the UK, and they were just like this is like a dream. Like we wish we had stores like that. And
Yeah,
you
what do you
just kind of
expect?
forget like
What do you
like
expect?
how
They prefer their Guinness piss warm. What the fuck do you expect?
but it's just like you just always think like Halloween is like this big thing, and I think it's a big thing because like it's part of like maybe American culture at this point, that Halloween is what it is that you and I know it as.
Mm-hmm.
But like trick-or-treating and all of those kind of those traditions are not really big things in other countries.
No,
It's
they're
just
US. Yeah.
yeah, and but I think like also I think one of the most beautiful cultural things is the Day of the Dead. I absolutely
It's
love
gorgeous.
everything there is about the Day of the Dead. I mean, just that is such an iconic cultural moment
Mm-hmm.
once a
Oh, it's
year
you want to
for
talk about you want to talk about you want to talk about something like, yeah, we talk about, okay, Halloween is very, very different from Day of the Dead. It is very, you want to
yeah
talk about a fucking bash. You want to talk about a
yeah
goddamn party. You want to talk about a fucking event.
yeah
That is huge.
yeah. But like what a beautiful way to honor those that have passed. I think it's such
Oh
a
yeah.
beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing in that culture to have that, and the way that they honor the ones that have passed on. I just think
Mm-hmm.
it's just so beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's just, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't give a flying fuck if this is insensitive or whatnot. I know it's not, but Coco is one of the greatest fucking Disney and Pixar movies ever made. I fucking love that movie so fucking much. It is so
I'll have
well
to take your
done.
word on it. I've not seen it.
You haven't? Oh, it's fucking
No.
life changing. It really is. But like, I genuinely do have friends who are Mexican and Latin American descent and so on and so forth. And they said, he goes like, not only that, like, not only is it just a really good movie, but like they did insane amount of justice to the actual of what it is like. Like they didn't undersell it, they didn't oversell it. Like that's exactly what Dia de Muertos is like. Like the whole fucking country shuts down, and the food and the music and how everyone does go to the cemeteries and all of that. It is so fucking serious. Like, just, I cannot recommend that movie enough. Not only like is it just a really good movie, but too, but it just, the cinematics of it. It's gorgeous. The colors, the lighting, all of it is just to make me fucking cry. It's so good.
You've sold me. I need to watch that movie now.
You do. Get your tissues. You're gonna be boohooing like a motherfucker, but
Oh no.
it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm tired of crying at cartoons, though.
I love crying at cartoons. I
Ugh.
really do. Because
the last one that I absolutely lost my shit on and cried, I mean, like, ugly cried, was Souls.
Soul with Jamie Foxx?
I don't know.
The jazz musician?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
That ripped me to shreds. And I'm like, I cannot stand crying at a cartoon anymore.
That's another. I was not expecting to be as hit as hard as that movie. Like it's a Disney movie, so there's already got to be like it's coming at some point. But there's oh my god, it's gotten so much worse for Lauren and I since we became parents.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, like. We watched Inside Out, and Inside Out was fine. And it was sweet. You've seen Inside Out, right?
I have not seen Inside Out.
Really? Okay, so I remember. But there's one scene where like same thing. There's another one. It's like the big boohoo part. It's like the last act of the movie, and yeah, it was sad and whatever. But now we watch it like as parents because like the movie it's like it all happens like the little girl's emotions in her head and so on and so forth. And we have little girls. It hits us so much harder now.
Yeah.
Like seeing that and just it's wild now. But we kind of laugh about it now. I don't care. Anyone and everyone can judge me about this one. I don't even if you cut this out, I don't give a fuck. If you leave it, I expect you to kind of leave it in just to see if people fuck with me about it.
Okay. No.
During lockdown.
Yeah.
We were watching Frozen 2. I swear to God, dude, we were not okay during that movie. We were not okay. So this before we had kids. Same thing. We were still like, okay. Have you seen that one? Have you seen any of the fucking movies I've referenced tonight? Jesus Christ. You haven't seen Frozen 2. Got it.
No, I think I think I have. Was that is that the one with the rock with the rocks with the rock
with the big rock people
or whatever?
With the big rock ones and the dam and going to the past, and essentially it was the movie The Fifth Element, but that's told by Disney.
Yeah,
that's the second one.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay.
Which
then I've seen it.
Personal opinion, Eon's better than the first. Either way. So when she gets to Atahalan and she's there and she's singing the song Show Yourself, like, dude, first off, shouts out to Idina Menzel. Love you, baby. Oh my God. Like, love her. The voice of a fucking angel. And that song is just like it's so just powerful and like it's like exactly like show yourself, like be yourself, like don't same thing, like don't shelter ways of like exactly born this way, be yourself, be comfortable with who you are, all empowering, right? For Lauren and I, we had problems with that when we were kids, so it's pulling on that heartstring a little bit. But there's that one bit like almost towards the song where it's like the big operatic or like the operatic type of orchestra part to it comes in, and she's seeing the memory and she's seeing like her mother singing, and she starts crying when she says I am God, right? And then the big boom and her mother is singing and she's starting to cry and so on and so forth. Lauren and I were not we don't know that each other is like losing their shit at this time because we're just I think I left out the important part. We were living with her parents at the time back in Connecticut. Our room was the finished basement. So it's like, so we're down there. It's just before dinner time. So it's like 4:00, 5:00 and lights are off. So we're just there and this movie's playing. And then as soon as literally like right as the song ends, her mom yells down, all right, dinner. And we just pause it. We look at each other and we're both fucking messes.
Oh,
We're both,
no.
and we're like, that's a good time. That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
We're both like, our eyes are completely glassed over. We are fighting, dude. We are fighting the good fight to not just go. So we both go
To not lose
upstairs.
it.
So we both go upstairs. Her mom takes one look at us and goes, "What the fuck is going on?" And we just start laughing. So we're like bawling our eyes out.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, man. Once again, music. Shit's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Shit's powerful.
And with that, the fire is dying and the spirits are retreating. But before we vanish into the fog, like all good goals in the night, we ask you, dear listeners, to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, on whatever haunted corners of the internet you scroll through at 3 a.m. Like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review, or you can leave us an offering. We prefer 5 stars or fresh blood. It's your choice. And if you feel something brush past you after this episode ends, it's probably just us whispering, thanks for listening. Until next time, stay strange, stay spooky, and don't forget to check under your bed. You're going to say bye? Say bye, Kyle.
Trick or treat. Smell my feet. Give me something good to eat.
Good to eat.
If you don't, I don't care. I will pull down your underwear.
No comment.